Hey guys, and welcome to my first episode of the new Southampton career mode on my YouTube channel. We are of course going to be managing Southampton, hoping to get them into the Champions League within this first season with them. As you can see here, a high priority for youth development, and we're hoping to be successful in both international and national competitions. As we're talking about international success, you can see here we are drawn into Group J of the Europa League with Krasnodar, Losk Lille and Aberdeen, and we've got the setting on world class because I'm not quite a legendary player. You know, I'm not that great at the game, especially offline. So we're going to keep it on world class for now, and if it just is too hard or too easy, we'll adjust it. But we're going to advance now and get into the pre-season tournament. We're going to take the one that offers the most money, although it is the hardest difficulty in terms of which teams are competing. As you can see there, Schalke, Nice, Sassuolo, Werder Bremen, PSV and Fenerbahce. But I do believe as though we could go decently far in this pre-season tournament. Our first bit of training now, and we are going to acquire Nathan Redmond, Buffal, Sims. As you can see here, speed dribbling for Buffal. Although we may change this to beat your man, which is a tougher training task. But yeah, as Southampton are known for their development, we really want to develop young players and, progress for the future. As you can see here, Josh Sims is a good example of that, coming through the ranks this season for Southampton. I feel like he could do well this season in the cup competitions. James Ward-Prowse, of course, only 21 years of age, got a good future ahead of him at Southampton. Also Van Dijk, if they can keep hold of him from the big clubs, of course he is going to be a brilliant player. Already is superb, but isn't quite world class yet, but has the potential to be. But as you can see here, as we're selecting the training drills, there is a bit of dead weight at the club, which could be offloaded for a bit of money in this transfer window to, of course, bolster the squad. But we're going to acquire Van Dijk to our training. Although this training may not continue throughout the season, our signings may get involved in this training. But training isn't the main focus, really. Domestically, in the league, qualifying for the Champions League is where we want to look to get whilst developing these young players. We're now going to head over and check our objectives. We need to reach the final of the Europa League, tough. Round of 16 of FA Cup, not very difficult, but definitely achievable. Finishing the Europa League spot, of course we want to get Champions League. Sign 2 youth players to the senior team and play them in 10 games. Also, within 2 seasons, I didn't quite get to read that, but keep a streak of at least 90% attendance in 5 consecutive home games. That is for brand exposure. Reach the final of the Europa League, of course, and finish in the Europa League spot. And reach the round of 16, which we have already gone over. Financially, within 2 seasons. Don't know, it just said increase by 15%, I'm sure. But as you can see here, just going through the squad, choosing which players, will be more valuable to us this season. Ward-Prowse is definitely a player I'm going to be starting. Geordie Classy, of course, not the youngest, but still quite young in this Southampton team. Just a holding midfielder, could do well in there. Scrolling through the formations, I decided to go for the 4-3-2-1, as I felt Southampton did have quite a lot of strength in the wingers. And I feel like that's somewhere where we could exploit, with Charlie Austin up front, getting those crosses into him. He could win those in the air, as well as Shane Long. Højbjerg as well, recently signed for Southampton in the summer. He could be someone who is influential this season if we want to make the Champions League places. But we are now going to go over and decide who is going to get the axe from this squad to further improve the squad. We are going to transfer just because he's coming towards the end of his career, and because this is going to be a long career mode, he is just going to be dead weight as he is too old, and we want to get maximum we can out of him. I considered selling Tadic there, but decided against it. Instead listed up Geordie Classy, which was a mistake. I did go back and remove that because I realised it isn't. I meant to list up the other CDM instead. I believe it's Oriol Romeu. I listed up Rodriguez for loan for 1 year there, and also Stephen Davis, who is 31, just a bit too old, listed him up, and also Romeu here, as you can see. But yeah, 67 million in the bank is not too bad, and 147 remaining wage budget, which isn't great, but the 67 million can be adjusted, could be lowered so we can increase that wage. Gyarados here, the centre back, listed up, as well as Yoshida. Taylor, can't list him up, although that would have been nice because he is unneeded. And yeah, I believe that's it for who we're going to list up. Although Sam Gallagher here, have had past experiences with him on career mode and stuff. Not the greatest, so not looking forward to getting him back from loan, but you know, he's a tall striker, could do well in the area. Lloyd Isgrove, I'm going to list him up for loan just because he's 23 already. I don't think I'll be using him over Josh Sims, so he could leave for loan. Just looking through a few of the youngsters here. This Will Wood will get him out on loan, as well as this Barnes kid, who's a striker. Could be alright in the future. Looks, you know, got similar stats to Ben Woodburn, I believe, on career mode, but just not someone I'm interested in right now. And we've shortlisted a few centre-backs here, including Daley Blind, Gary Cahill, Scott Dan, Johnny Evans, Gabriel, Ben Gibson, Wes Morgan, Ryan Shawcross, Alexander Dragovic here. And yeah, I feel like we really need to strengthen in the centre-back position because, you know, we need someone to partner Van Dijk, who's young, Sewell here as well, Tar, Murillo, all very strong options at the centre-back position, including Rugani here, who could be a very good centre-back in the Southampton side. He's quite similar, I feel, to Fonte, just a bit younger, and, you know, that's what Southampton would look to sign. Or at least it is a relatively realistic signing, I believe. I could see him signing for Southampton if Juventus did sign another centre-back, of course. With the four main centre-backs, Rugani is someone who should probably look to leave in the future if he wants to further his career. As you see here, captain, we're going to leave his font for now until we end the transfer window. We're going to put Buffal on free kicks, as well as Ward-Prowse on corners, and penalties we are going to give to the big man, Charlie Austin. Now we're just going to go ahead and fix in player instructions. We're going to tell Charlie Austin to stay central, going to play as a target man for us, just hold the ball up and play it into the wingers. We're going to put Redmond on stay central as well, and get him behind, as well as the same for Buffal, as I feel like you could be very unbalanced if you go with different instructions for your wingers. I feel like you could, you know, be very unbalanced in attack, and that does lead to quite a few mistakes. The rest of the team going to stay on normal instructions, apart from the CDM, who I am going to set to stay back while attacking, just because we need that extra support on just the four defenders, especially when Geordie Classy isn't the best going forward. We want to keep him back so he can protect the defence and, you know, not get caught out on the break, because quite a few teams in the Premier League do, of course, play counter-attack. But as you can see now, Josh Sims requests to play the first game in pre-season, and we are going to change up the team a lot for this first pre-season game. Hopefully it can do the job still, though, against, I believe, Chievo Verona. We're going to go with the very rotated side. Tadic at right forward, Josh Sims at left forward, Shane Long up top, Harrison Reed in the midfield, as well as Stephen Davis. Romeu also in the side for this simmed match, with Martina at right back, Gyardos and Stevens at centre back, and McQueen at left back, with McCarthy in goal. And that is the side we're going to go in with. It's not the most important to do well in this pre-season tournament, but it is important to get to know which players could be more useful than I may have already thought. And as you can see here, Southampton against Chievo Verona, we do pick up a 3-0 win with the rotated side. You know, that's not bad. Chievo Verona are not a terrible side. Josh Sims thanks me for getting game time. I thank him for putting in a good performance there against Chievo Verona. Bit more training here, a bit of development. Going to sign the Norwegian scout, 5-star experience, 5-star judgment. He is going to go out to the Netherlands, and yeah, I was prepared to pay maximum for that scout, as that is a high prioritised thing at Southampton, to get in good youth players. Although unfortunately in that pre-season game, Romeu did pick up a knock and he could be out for a lengthy time. But hopefully we can get him out the door before that becomes a bigger problem. As you see here, a bit less of a rotated side here for this next pre-season game, which is also going to be simmed, but still quite a rotated side from the usual team that will be starting in the Premier League. Against Sassuolo, we are on the away side. Away sides do get disadvantaged in normal games. I don't know if that affects friendlies, like which side you're on. It could still be in the game. But unfortunately we do pick up a loss there against Sassuolo, 2-1 loss, a brace from Berardi. As you can see here, Charlie Austin is the subject of a £10 million bid from Bayer Leverkusen. And we do reject that and say, if you come back with 23 million, we will be willing to let the big man go. I considered asking for 40 million on Bertrand, but knowing PSG, they probably would go ahead with that. So I just decided to reject it, get some more scout reports back, and we do get a request from Jack Stevens to start this final group stage game in the pre-season tournament. And we are going to play him. We're going to play a less rotated side, and we're actually going to play this game. I know, we are actually going to play this game against, I believe it's, can't remember who it is, but as you can see here, we're going with Stevens alongside Van Dijk, Forster in net, right back Cedric, left back Bertrand, CDM Classy, 2 centre mids Ward-Prowse and Højbjerg, right forward Buffal, striker Charlie Austin, and right forward Nathan Redmond. And we are just going to check that instructions are the same and get into it, I believe. But before we get into the highlights of my first actual played game, do smash a like if you're looking forward to seeing more of this career mode. And yeah, it will show that you do want to see this, and I'll produce more. Of course, subscribe as well to my channel. World class here, as you can see, confirmed. Going into the game at the Veltins Arena. Of course, it's not too disappointing if we do get a loss. We may still progress, but I'd still like a win, just because it shows that this side is capable of stuff against a good side like Werder Bremen. Redmond here with a build-up play into Austin. Buffal intercepted by Jebra Selassie and cleared away. Now Southampton come forward with Redmond. He hasn't got many options here. Cuts back, plays it back to James Ward-Prowse, into Højbjerg, who takes a shot. Good save from Zetterer, though. Redmond intercepts here. We are the dominant side right now, 10 minutes in. Redmond through, cuts back out, which was the wrong decision from me. Should have taken the shot there straight on, but decided against it. Thigh now for Werder Bremen coming forward. Bad shot there, straight at the Southampton defender, but as you can see here, they force a corner. Good save from Forster. Should really have caught that, but they then cross it in the 45th minute. Cheese. And yeah, it was a good volley from the Werder Bremen forward, but really Forster should be doing better there and getting a hand to that, or maybe even, just catching it. It was quite, savable. And as you can see here at halftime, we do make some changes. We get Austin on normal settings instead of, advanced player instructions. We completely change the front three. We bring in Josh Sims, Tadic, and Shane Long for Austin, Redmond, and Buffal. However, I feel like that was the wrong decision. They were playing well. However, here, Shane Long goes through, tries to chip over the keeper, Zetterell with a good save. And now Bayer turns Van Dijk incredibly well, but a poor shot, good save from Forster. However, in the 74th minute, we do make some more changes just to try and get back into the game. And yeah, Stephen Davis comes in for, I believe, Classy. Martina comes in for Cedric, Gyardos for Stevens, and McCarthy for Forster. Martina down this right hand side now, tackled by Garcia. Martina in toward Prowse, gets past the Werder Bremen defence, cuts it back, and it's a good block by Sane, the Werder Bremen centre back. Cedric turns the defender again, gets to the byline, good cross in, and it's headed away. Gyardos out to Ryan Bertrand, tries to get a bit of space on his left peg, couldn't get any, and he's tackled, and that is how we end. And we do, unfortunately, drop out of the European International Cup. Quite disappointing, but, I should have put more effort into it, I feel, played more games, but we live and we learn, and we do move on and try and pursue a centre-back. We weigh up our options, we look at the stats, physicals. Gary Cahill's looking alright, but the rest of them, not too sure yet. Scott Dan, decent price, but not the greatest of stats. We haven't got a full report on him yet. Wes Morgan, terrible stats. Shawcross, okay stats. Dragovic, really nice overall stats for a centre-back. Saul has surprisingly not got the greatest of stats. I'm quite surprised there. Terrible technicals and pretty poor physicals as well for a centre-back. Jonathan Tarr with some decent stats. Inquire about him, and we just do inquire for a few of these centre-backs, especially Rugani. Rugani did pop out as one that we would like to sign. But anyway, that is where we're going to end it for today, guys. I hope you did like. If you did, then smash a like. Comment which centre-back you think we should sign. And yeah, subscribe.